Hello, everybody. It's been a while. Not really a while, it's been like 2 weeks. But, I'm back. I'm going to get comfortable. And I hope you guys are doing well. Things are not all right in the world. There are several wars going on right now. Several countries that are destabilized. Palestine, Sudan, Lebanon, Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, not to mention domestically, DC, Minneapolis, Hartford, Connecticut, all these different places, all these different cities, Minnesota, Minneapolis, all things, all of DC, specifically in the areas with majority Black neighborhoods, lots of things going on. There's a lot of information for PSL, National Party for Socialism and Liberation, I believe. I will also add some of their information in the description because we need to stay as informed as possible, but I don't stand for any of that shit. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And it gets to a point where it's just like, at what point are we going to start not only seeing the world in a different place other than where we are living in this wasteland of capitalism, but also actually doing some shit about it. Some people are doing some shit about it, but some people are not. But yeah, okay, into the video. So I'm here to talk about the 3 P's, okay? Porn, pleasure, and policing. Yes, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with those, but let's go for a ride, okay? Because starting with porn, there's so many issues with porn. And I'm not going to say the quotations were used for some talking points when it comes to porn. I don't mean to downplay it, like there aren't any downsides to porn or the porn industry. So porn in itself is very nuanced, I feel. There's a lot of websites that sell porn that was not acquired or filmed with the consent of those in the video. So there's a lot of unconsensual videos online, whether it's power dynamics, coercion of any kind across these different power dynamics, but also there's a lot of child pornography as well as a lot of content being out there without the consent of those who are in the video, or also people being overly intoxicated in videos as well and not knowing that they're being recorded. Revenge porn is a real big issue. Yes, I get that. We get that. That is a problem. These are not problems that are not preventable. They are preventable. The enablers are the porn website owners, and the people who are taking the content, yes, but they're also receiving incentive to record videos like that. Like when I'm speaking of power dynamics, it's the dynamic of mother and son, or incest and other very sick and twisted power dynamics, boss and employee, teacher and student, all these different things. There's multiple industries within the porn industry. Well, there's multiple categories within the porn industry that incentivizes very harmful things, like the under 18, almost 18, the ambiguity around ages and things like that, making certain porn stars will appear younger, will say or wear things that make them seem younger, and it's ridiculous and it's disgusting. But like I said, they're incentivized to do these things because there's such a large market. These are real actual issues like incest and abusive power dynamics is a real issue, and it doesn't need to be exacerbated by romanticizing and sexualizing it through porn. Yes, that's true. That's true. On the other side, on the other bridge, or one of the other branches of the nuanced tree, literally porn has a right to exist. porn has been, it does have a violent past. It does have a negative connotation or more of a taboo connotation. All these things are true. But porn has a right to exist. Like, people have a right to create porn. People have a right to experience pleasure and film it and, like, distribute that if all parties are consenting. Like, it's a thing. Adult films should have the right to exist, right? So when it comes to people who are conservatives, girl, literally evil, sick, and twisted people. All these different names for all these evil, sick, and twisted people. But those who believe that porn shouldn't exist because it's like harming the children, but still engage in those industries that feed into these types of narratives. Like, a lot of those, and when I say conservative, we can refer to those in the Epstein files. Like, a lot of those very, very quote unquote powerful, and I mean power equating to those who have the money, a lot of money, owning large businesses and things like that, like huge businesses, or like the president, all the people who are saying that porn and porn stars are like evil people, or they don't have the right to exist, or all these different things, or like, you know, yeah, exactly that. But they are engaging in this type of behavior behind closed doors. Like, you are kidnapping young girls, you are, you know, raping and sexually abusing them without their consent and recording it and doing other things. And a lot of people within the 1% billionaires, that industry, have not even industry, that fucking, yeah, that area. They do that. Like, that's a common practice. And also, they're incentivized to, like, feeding into these types of narratives because of the porn industry. It reinforces the, like, normalization of child pornography and, like, all these harmful ass themes, these brutal ass sexual, like, these brutal themes. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But those who are conservative, you can't say porn. People are saying the talking point for removing porn, which also is just it's just really a sign of the times of more like women becoming more conservative and having less rights, and, you know, losing their right to express themselves and all the things. Like, and I'll get into that when I talk about pleasure and policing and stuff. But within this first P, like, literally the girls are not, like, it's like, I lost my train of thought for a second. But yes, they're directly feeding into these narratives, and by they I mean these billionaires, these governors, these presidents. They are feeding into these narratives in which incentivizes this type of behavior. Like, no, like, it's, if your talking point if your talking point is you should remove porn, like, period, because there's literally websites that are banned today in 2026 today. Like, if your talking point is you're gonna ban a whole ass website, ban all these things to stop child pornography when you are raping children, and I mean the government, like those in the government protecting, if not you doing it yourself, protecting people, and on top of that, I'm just like, I'm just a little, I'm not even perplexed. It's just like, if you wanted to get rid of child pornography, you could get rid of child pornography. Like when it would be different if, like, it was difficult to tell. It's never I don't feel like it's never difficult to tell. No, I don't feel like it's never difficult to tell. Some people, what I was going to say was, some people will be older and they'll pretend that they're younger for, like, clickbait and all this other crazy shit. And that goes back into incentivizing playing into certain roles and narratives. But, like, if you wanted to get rid of child pornography, you could, because all you have to do is get rid of it. Get rid of it. When it comes to fighting predators and things like that, like, You can do that as well. You should do that in real life, as well as making sure that it's not, this type of stuff is not accessible to anyone online, let alone those predators. But yeah, like, so they're very clearly not worried about children, the safety of children. Like, that's not what you're worried about. You're not worried about the safety of children whatsoever. So yeah, like, what are they really worried about? And that brings me to pleasure. Women being able to express themselves freely, be sexy, sensual, loud, proud, bold, all the things, like, that is a truly liberated woman. And that is a woman who is an empress, strong enough to carry multiple generations through whatever the fuck is coming at you. And that's scary when you're a society saying that only white women should have babies, because the government incentivizes white women to have babies over other people. I mean, over black women and other women of color. So, like, in a world that's, like, not honoring your pleasure and is honoring your suffering, because black women are known as angry suffragettes, martyrs, all these things, when really didn't come, that's just not us. You know, historically, the girls have sacrificed and put their life on the line because we know better. Our ancestors teach us and show us better. We know better. But we deserve to be free and happy and having fun and full of pleasure in life and expressive and colorful and all the things. And when a woman is united in that, when all women across all the things, all races, ethnicities, all of that, when we can all honor and recognize that we need to honor our pleasure, which honoring your pleasure is honoring yourself. You should have sex. It's not a crime to talk about you having sex. All these things that we talk about should not be taboo. I would not be here if it were not for sex. You would not be here if it were not for sex. We need to talk about these things. They shouldn't be as taboo as they are, because that's how people are getting harmed behind closed doors. That's how people are going through different experiences they may or may not need to go through. And a part of community is having these conversations and talking about these things. And it isn't, you have to have pleasure. Like, you need to have pleasure in your life. You can't be hustling every day, all day doing. You need to have pleasure, real pleasure that lights you up from the inside out, warms you, like pleasure. And pleasure doesn't always have to come through a partner. Pleasure can come from pleasuring yourself. You know, lots of ways you can pleasure yourself, whether that's through, you know, doing things that makes you happy, eating things that taste really good, doing things that make you feel whole. Maybe whether that's like getting into your hobbies again, coloring, painting, pleasuring yourself, masturbating, all these different things. Having sex too, if you want to have sex. Like, everyone, it's a thing. You know, everyone should be old enough and consenting. And that's what we should be worried about when it comes to sex. If it's safe and if you're old enough and consenting. By old enough, like, you are old enough and consenting. Like, the age of consent should not be 16. Sorry. Everyone is able to, you know, not everyone. I'm not going to say everyone is able to say, like, speak for themselves and discern certain things. That's just simply not true. The age of consent should not be 18. I mean, should not be 16. I'm not even sure if it should be 18. I'm not the one to decide it. But all I know is it should happen between two consenting adults. Sex between teenagers happens. That's not something that should be glorified, uplifted, but it is something that happens, and it should not be something that's shameful either. You know, the girls are gonna have sex. We are humans. We eventually like, I won't say we have to reproduce. We don't, but that's like what we do. That's all living organisms do that. We're not special to be, you know, walking on two legs and having sex a different way than other animals. Like, we're not really special. They do it too. Like, it's okay. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But, like, literally, there should be no shame with sex or anything like that. Sex needs to be enthusiastically consensual. It has to be between people who can both consent. There shouldn't be so much shame associated with pleasure. I've had people come to me like, oh yeah, like, and I mean people, my homegirls and stuff like that. It's like, oh, like, you know, I am having sex, but like, you know, should should I be having an orgasm? This one girl that I used to know told me, she was like, yes, me and my friend have sex for hours, and I haven't had an orgasm. Hours, not a single orgasm. Hours. Mind you, I was younger, she was younger, didn't know too much about sex. But hours, even at the time, I was like, girl, hours? No, girl. Hours? Girl. So, you know, we need to be having these conversations more, because you should be having an orgasm. Everyone has sex the way they want to, but orgasm is, you know, it shows pleasure in cases of having sex with enthusiastic consent. So, you know, like, let's just be normal people and like stop being so judgmental and weird and overly sexualizing things. Because sex is sex. Things that are like sex, that's just what it is. Like, we over sexualize other things, like women experiencing, like, no, we don't over sexualize women experiencing joy. Because the girls the girls do not love to see women joyful sometimes. It's really sickening. But it's like, this brings me to policing. The last P. Women are so overly policed or overly sexualized for things that make literally no sense. Like, you have nipples, I have nipples, we all do, because we're human. Unless you don't have your nipples, then that's okay. Then you don't have nipples, and that's fine. But when it comes to certain sizes of our body parts, we sexualize them more than others. And it's just really weird to me. And when it comes to women, specifically black women, if you are thicker, then that's all they see is like maybe your body, as opposed to, you know, your face or literally anything else about you. You know, excuse me. But when it comes to women, when you wear certain things, you know, not only are you perceived like, oh my gosh, like, it's ridiculous. Perceived in so many different ways, but it's also like you're over-sexualized. Like, I do not like to wear bras. I hate that women have been trapped into thinking we have to wear bras. Men don't wear bras. Some men have bigger boobs and they don't wear bras, but because we carry milk that literally magical milk, we create exactly the type of milk that our baby would need to survive. Just because we have the ability to do that, I have to hold my titties up and strap them down and shit. Like, girl, no, I'm not doing that. I was born like this, you were born like that. You decided to get up and show up like that, I'm gonna get up and show like this. Like, literally, I will not wear a bra, you'll see a nipple, and then all of a sudden it's just like, now I have to fall out because I didn't see Jada's nipples. Like, we all have nipples. Like, my family will always tell me, like, oh, like, you know, you should always wear a bra. You should always present this way. And it's like, I need to present like me. I am not comfortable with that, so I'm not going to do that. Why would I sacrifice my comfort for someone else, right? And that's scary to people. Like, to be a woman who is not following not only the status quo, but the patriarchy and the systems that they put in place for you to not only show up and look in a certain way. Like, we don't even like pay attention to the social norms we have on a regular basis. Like, it's just a little underlying shit like that. Like you see me not wearing a bra and that makes your brain go haywire. Like, oh my God, like, why would she come up? Why do you feel like you need to wear a bra? And that goes for many other things as well, not just bras. But that is something that is really in the femdom community, girl. It's brainwashing. And I'm not going to stand for it. And women do not need to be policed. Women have always been overly policed, whether it's your hair, your body, your language, your facial expressions, all the things. And it's exacerbated when it comes to being a black woman, because when it comes to being a black person, you're automatically under a microscope always for anything. Then when you add the woman in the woman spice, it's like, damn, like, can I breathe? Can I live? Like, and this also goes for the femmes, you know, the black woman who may or may not identify as women, but, you know, present more, you know, feminine. It's like, it's the thing. Like, that ties into the pleasure thing. When you are tapped into your divine energy is inherently feminine. Like, not for everyone, but, you know, and the femininity is not weak. It's not something to be like, oh my God, like, am I giving feminine right now or not? Like no, it's very beautiful. It's very divine. It's very driven, very ambitious, very matriarchal, very empress energy. All the things. So why would I let you police my body when I live in my body? I have to take care of me, you know? And that's definitely my message to other women out there, whether you're young or old, all the things. I don't believe that these topics, the piece that I'm talking about, like porn, you know, pleasure and policing, like I feel like they should all be talked about more. And like also how they intersect, because they all do intersect. And it's like right now, as the world is getting more and more like, I hate women and like patriarchal, although I personally see the shift, the underlying shift of women taking their power back, being liberated, tapping into their gifts and their divine feminine energy, and truly exhibiting who they are meant to be, being unique, being different, being all the things. Like, you know, literally saving the world. I see that, I feel that. But also, it is a fact that there are a lot of men right now working to counteract that, whether it's through legislation in the government or all these different things. All these different things. You know, local governments as well as federal governments. You know, doesn't just stop at it doesn't just stop at women. It also, you know, trans people right now are losing their rights to literally have a passport. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Like, they're having to give their passport up because, and not only are they having to give their passport up, they're choosing the wrong gender marker. And also for women who change their last name in marriage, which is millions of women, because that's also another standard built by the patriarchy. Now those women are not able to use their passport. You know, and this is legislation that's passed, and this is just actively finding ways to not only make it so women cannot work as much, cannot be traveling as much, cannot go outside as much, live in fear. You know, quite literally, they've been dismantling our reproductive rights for months, years at this point. So we already know what it's time to do, girls. Girls, gays, thems, men too. It's everybody's fight when it comes to women, because we are all here because of women. As much as the patriarchy likes to make it seem like we shouldn't embrace those qualities of being feminine and all these things, like, no, that is quite literally Mother Earth. Like, the reason why we have anything, food, air, water, shelter, land, all the things, the divine feminine energy is what keeps us going. That's literally the earth. Like, how are you going to think that you're God? How are people going to think that God is a man when God can't create life? If God is a man, God can't create life, because men cannot create life. Women create life. It's like a no-brainer type of thing. Not even here to debate who's God though, but like, for real, like, let's talk about that. And I may do like a more like in-depth video too about some of these things. But these are just my thoughts on this, because it's literally killing me, and like, we're going in a direction that needs a big, hardcore like upheaval. Because the girls should not be ashamed of creating, making porn, all the things, as well as sex and all the things. There obviously should be restrictions on what you are producing and making. Like, porn should just be two consenting adults having sex. Like, the title should just be, these two adults are having sex. The titles be crazy. And some of the things, like, the titles can be whatever it is, but it's just like, no need to feed into these ancestral narratives and all these different things. Like, if we really wanted to reform the issues with porn, then it could be done. But those who are taking away jobs, because to be a porn star is a job. It's a role. It's real. Also, other forms of sex work, being an escort, being a stripper, all the different things, OnlyFans as well. You are removing jobs. These are jobs when it comes to like not being able to have avenues to upload their content. Like, so really, when it comes to these topics, there's more conversation that needs to be had on like how to actually help and change these environments when it comes to porn, or when it comes to like what we think pleasure should be, and like the normalizing of like our suffering instead of our pleasure and joy and all the things. And also when it comes to us like not policing each other. Like, we don't need to police each other. We don't need to allow society to police us and our bodies. Like, you can have an abortion here, you can't have an abortion there. You can have a C-section here, you can't have it here. You can get your hormones here, but you can't have it there. You can do this here. No, none of that is acceptable. These are our bodies, and we have control of them. And it's time we take back that control. So, yeah. I always have the urge to do that, like. But yeah, it was lovely chatting. Please stay safe. Y'all, please stay safe. Also, let's get into the eyeshadow. Let me see if you can see it. Very much something light, Something light. I have been doing very dramatic eyeshadow looks. Dramatic. And it's been beautiful. I'm like, yeah, it's like, how can I even be even bolder and louder? And yeah. And yes, I will continue to do so. And also, thank you guys so much for the support. The channel is growing. My overall views are at like 27,000 right now, and I just started being consistent like this year. So thank you guys for that. I appreciate all that love and the support, and I see you guys commenting and liking and being consistent, all that, and I appreciate it because I'm trying to be consistent for y'all. I be having a lot going on. A lot. But I try. I recently made an Instagram page for my business. I will not be making a personal Instagram page. They won't get me, but I made an Instagram for my business, so follow that. I'll put it right here. It's urtsajada2a's.shop. So get into that, and also get into my Etsy too. I don't know if I said this on this channel, but I also started selling juices in addition to the herbs and the jewelry. And also book a reading with me, for real. I'm going to be doing a pick a card soon. But book a reading with me because we got a lot to talk about. So yeah. Thank you guys for listening, and see you soon.